Being completely open and honest has to be the hardest principle to live by. Throughout human history, deception has played its part, and that is no different in today's times. Bearing this in mind, how can an individual make an informed decision when the truth is not paramount? How can we decide upon anything if we haven't got all of the relevant information available to us? It puts us in a bit of a predicament. Of course, the truth spectrum is wide. It can vary from individuals telling little white lies, all the way up to corporations telling massive lies and covering the truth for years on end, and all of the lies in between. Every single person has the capacity to lie. It's just how much people lie that is variable. It is a shame that our society is built upon withholding information, because supposedly revealing the whole truth and being completely honest is a bad thing. If we focus on the social aspect of lying, the majority of people have told little white lies here and there. These lies may or may not have been too harmful, depending on how one perceives the lie. In the quest for truth and being completely open and completely honest, I'm not suggesting that everybody goes around and just makes horrible comments and nasty remarks to people, all in the pursuit of being an honest person. What I am calling for is a shift in our attitude towards truth. Being hit with a hard truth is almost always painful in the short term. Not only is it hard to receive a hard truth, it can also be difficult to deliver a hard truth. However, if we put our egos to one side and looked at the situation objectively, we would see that hard truths and the truth generally is more beneficial in the long term. The long-term benefits outweigh the short-term pain. A lot of the time, the person who is delivering a hard truth simply wants the best for you. Of course, there'll be moments where you have a toxic individual who just wants to spit out a toxic comment, but for the majority of the time, these hard truths are coming from people that are close to us, people that we care about. And it's highly likely they have our best interests in their hearts. It is important that we're mindful in how we communicate. If we communicate with sincerity and humility, not only will the truth be easy to deliver, it'll also be easier to take. Key here is to bear in mind how you appraise the comments that come your way. If we see it as a criticism, then it always will be, no matter how it was intended. So let's work on how we appraise what people say to us and how we read into their intent. You can never guarantee how someone meant something, and you can never control what comes out of people's mouths. What's important is how you let it affect you, how you think about these comments. Even if you think someone has unfairly criticised you, ask for clarification. Be willing to have open and difficult conversations with people to get to the bottom of the situation, to get to the truth of the matter. Or you can just let people have their own thoughts, have their own opinions. Consider them, appreciate them for what they are, and let them go if they're not useful to you. Now, I'm not just calling for honesty and openness from individuals. We should expect it from all institutions in our society. It is hard to make informed decisions when there is a lack of transparency from those who are providing the information. Not only does this relate in communication from individual to individual, this relates to things that affects a whole host of people. A main one for me is voting in elections. There's no denying there is advantages in covering the truth. It has aided us throughout our human history. And if we bring it forward to today's times, it's almost expected and accepted that marketing by organisations and agencies involves a certain manipulation of the truth. It's almost like you shouldn't simply trust what you are told. Unfortunately, you do have to think critically about these things. However, we should be able to trust what we are told. Details shouldn't be missed here or there at the convenience of the person delivering the message. I do understand that sometimes when people are delivering a message, they do have good intentions. They can be misinformed or they can make mistakes. But it shouldn't be a massive task to uncover the truth. I do understand we are bounded by human limitation as well. There is a limit on our cognitive abilities, and there's definitely a limit on our attention span, meaning that those who market these messages need to grab our attention. The fact that we have our cognitive limits, the fact that our attention is limited, is ripe for exploitation. As I said earlier, it's almost like we accept an element of fabrication. That's just how business is done, some would say. But why would we want to accept this? How can we truly solve issues if important details are missed out or not fully explained? If we all value the truth, no matter how hard it was to hear, we would be able to come up with solutions to our problems. People may be tentative to come clean due to a fear of backlash, and that's a consequence of not being truthful from the outset. But as I said, how can we address issues if people don't even know they exist? A lack of transparency only leads to an air of suspicion. It allows our imaginations to run wild and come up with our own conclusions about what we think the truth might be. Why bother with these complications when we can just get to the point? And we could just work on these issues and try to find the best solutions. You may be thinking now sometimes where you maybe wasn't completely honest, or someone wasn't completely honest with you. There might be times where you've benefited from telling a little white lie, and that's reinforced the fact that lying can be useful. However, how can you truly find the solution to an issue and make an informed decision if you are not fully aware of all of the relevant information? How can you move forward and progress in a way that is right for you and for others if you do not want to embrace the truth about your situation? Let's stop putting so much value on short-term success by covering the truth, and let's focus on creating long-term and sustained change that will ultimately benefit us all in all aspects of our lives. The only way we can make the best informed decisions is to be completely honest with ourselves and with others.